Hello ladies and gentlemen, Panzer here, and welcome back to Crossout. And today we have the tiniest little plane you've ever seen. Well, actually it's not really. That was not actually the build I intended to put together, but I needed some extra structure points on it, and that seemed like the fastest way to do it. It's not really the most ideal situation, because these do stick out really, really badly. But anyway, so the actual build is, and a lot of people have been asking for this, it is a Nomad build, and that is using a lot of parts that come from the Nomads faction. So that includes the lovely autocannons that you have seen before, including the bigger brother of the base autocannon, which is the 25mm. This big, heavy turret. It is actually very, very heavy. At 300 kilograms on its own, it is actually really, really heavy compared to this, which actually doesn't weigh a lot less, I've just realized. But it has a lot more structure points for what it is, so I mean, that's something. Does use a lot of power, though. And the only reason I managed to keep this going is because I have a generator below there. So we're going to have a look at what this does and see if this is any good. And, well, here we go. Alright, and straight into a match. We're here on Founders Canyon, and this is a decent map actually for autocannons, because you got a good sort of mid-range area there. This is a very, very nippy and very maneuverable vehicle, I have to say, but it also has one or two issues, namely with regards to its wingspan there. Alright, just taking some shots there. I'm going to pull back. We are alone, which is not good. That's a bot going over there. I'm going to try and take out this player. But that bot is really making a mess of me already. Just firing some shots on the distance. We're about to get surrounded. This is really, really bad. Oh dear. Oh, that's a cannon round. So one thing you will notice is that autocannons have a lot of recoil. And there goes the 25. In fact, the 25 has so much recoil it was actually pushing us around on the ground there. Really badly imbalancing us, unfortunately. Alright, so going with a slightly different strategy this time. We did win that last one, but it was by capture, and with a lot of people capping. Didn't get any XP for that. In fact, got no rewards for that whatsoever, because, of course, given the way rewards work in this game, it means no kills means no rewards, which I believe is actually a really stupid system. So here we go. We're going to stick with the team here, let the others go out in front and really just try and support them by damaging from afar. Because that is, after all, what this type of weapon specializes in. Scoring some good hits there. Really don't want to be taking anybody one-on-one. We can do some decent damage, but you can't really hold up to a lot of damage. With only 637 structure points, you're not exactly going to be winning any one-on-one fights there. So really just trying to finish off this bot over here, getting a kill assist there. So just poking out around here. There is somebody over there. I'm going to take some shots in that direction. Alright, now going to go and join the team before they catch up to us. They have seen us. Hopefully the rest of the team is all still here. Yeah, it does look like it. Alright, so it looks like they're going for the cap now. I'll try and get onto the point before the other team does. They might be wondering, why do I have the wings sticking out to the sides like that? They look really wobbly and they get in the way. There is one advantage to having the wings out like that, is that because I have an issue with controlling at the moment, mainly because of the lag, there is actually a significant amount of lag with the steering, that I've actually found that I was sliding sideways off of some of the cliffs and things, and falling out on the sides. So rather than rolling onto the sides, what actually happens is when you have these wings up, is that they actually help you to sort of touch the ground, provided you haven't completely rolled over and you're landing still mostly upright. It will help to just sort of stabilize you, and that's really the point of it. And it looks cute. It looks really, really cute. It's like the tiniest crashed aeroplane. But yeah, that's really what it is meant to be. Okie dokie, so another win for us. So having actually decent luck, and I got some decent rewards for that one, so quite happy with that. But yeah, so having to really kind of stay at this sort of range, not really long range, but kind of just in the middle of the pack, not being the first one seen, really seems to be sort of way to play this. And I'm not really a big fan of that, with which is why I'm not really a fan of autocannons in general, is that they really only favor that sort of range. Alright, let's try to get away. There is somebody behind us. Right, he's going to think we've gone straight down. I'm going to go around this way. Hopefully he doesn't see me. I'll try to come up behind him. So that sort of range really makes you vulnerable to things like cannon fire, and in fact now with the guided missiles like the Pyres and the Hurricanes, really just kind of making those sorts of other builds not as viable as they, you know, I really wish they were. It's an autocannon fight here. Alright, and he has actually mounted his autocannons in on a precarious spot there. So I've managed to knock one of them off, but he's also done the same to me. There we go, and he's completely disarmed. Which is why you really want to have your weapons mounted on the cabin as much as possible. Or at least on something really, really strong, because he's now completely disarmed and really vulnerable. Which is definitely not what you want to have happen. Gotta say, you really don't want to have that happen. Alright, I think that's going to be the end for us, but at least this guy knows he's not alone. There he goes. Hopefully he can finish him off. And there we go, that's the win. Alright, so yeah, and this is probably one of the more successful builds I've had, actually. In terms of just, I guess, in the videos, because nearly every, well, I guess every match I've shown so far has been a win. Which is quite surprising. That doesn't normally happen, unfortunately. Right, okay, that's a cannon shot. Luckily, it only took off one of our wheels and a little bit of armor, so we should be okay. But, yeah, not an ideal situation, definitely. So I'm going to go back around to the other side and see if we can get a much better position. So it looks like most of the team has actually gone for the riverbed. In fact, most of their team has as well, so that's kind of to be expected, really. Alright, somebody trying to pull around this side. I do worry about the 25mm being very vulnerable there. But there really isn't any other place to mount it, at least not in the rear, simply because it has to be that high to shoot over the cabin. The Wyvern cabin does actually have a lot higher collision area than you might expect. Just trying to sneak around to this side. Hopefully we can actually get some shots in. There's a bot there. Get some shots into him. We've got a kill assist there. Alright, trying to support sword over here. Now the 25mm is a lot less accurate, I find, than 20mm. But does a significantly higher damage, so you can actually really make use of that. But as always, autocannons just turn very, very slowly. So I don't really like them for close range work. Alright, our base is being captured, so I think it would be a good time for the whole team now to get on cap. So let's try and win this by capture instead. But overall, not too badly damaged, actually, this round. Alright, somebody's coming in. It looks like he's got a couple of shotguns. Oh, our teammate's down. But that's a win. So overall, not a bad effort from the littlest plane build here, and as far as autocannons go, I mean, they have their purpose. They can definitely do some very constant damage over time, particularly at mid-range when you can land those shots, but it's really one of those builds that you have to work with the ranges really well. It's something that you can't take into a brawling setup, definitely, because even though it has consistent damage output, it really suffers from just not being able to turn that quickly. Unless, of course, you're making a tanky build, and then, of course, you can pivot, then you might want to actually steer clear of autocannons in every other case. Now, they do have a high health pool for weapons. Like, just having a look at these are... these 25mm actually have 359 hit points, meaning they can actually take a cannon shot. Just one cannon shot. But otherwise, yeah, you're going to be able to survive fairly decent amounts. The autocannon here is actually mounted on the cabin, so it's a lot harder to destroy. So it really just comes down to the placement of the weapons, especially because you really need these to fire in all directions. It's not a good idea to have them where they have limited arcs of fire, simply because you really want to have that damage output wherever you happen to be. Now, of course, you could ideally mount them on the sides of cabins as well if you're going for a frontal approach, but I would not recommend that. I have these wings here, so technically I could actually just put these where these fence pieces are, but then they wouldn't be able to shoot to the sides and so on. So that's kind of why they are arranged in the way they are, and it seems to work out fairly well. Now, it's not the most stable mobility-wise. I could actually do a little bit better by having a wider wheelbase, but overall I'm quite happy with the way it handles. It doesn't roll easily, too easily, but of course it is able to sort of kind of prop itself back up if it happens to fall off a cliff, for example. So that's actually not a bad design. I would probably just use these wings as a piece of structure instead, otherwise, but you do have lower health from doing that. So overall, for 3,800 power score, it could definitely be much worse, and I think as far as builds go, I think I did quite okay with this one, but let me know what you think, and are there any other builds you'd like me to try? Don't forget to leave it down in the comments below, and if you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. My name is Panzer, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.